TCSP Training Videos presents Club Automation, the Admin Portal. Court Reservations. To reserve a court, first you'll go to Tennis under the Services tab. Then you'll need to select the day that you want to reserve the court on, and here is the court sheet. There are also many different types of facilities that you can book a court under, such as baseball or the ball machine lane, in addition to the standard indoor court times. Now before we book a court, we'll first cancel this court by going under the Edit option, and then we'll select Cancel and Yes. This will allow the member to book a new court by using the Reserve a Court option and then selecting 5 blocks for a standard 75-minute court time. You'll then put the member's name into the Who Will Play on this court section, and you can also alter the billing information to change it from a singles court, which is the default, to a doubles court. We'll say this is a doubles court, so we'll type in 41.6, and then the total charge for the court will be $52. We can also add a ball machine at this stage, and that'll make it so that it is a $62 court time. Save reservation, override because we're going ahead, and then we click Confirm to book the court. Splitting a court fee. So, one of the most common things we do is split up court fees for members when they play here. In order to do this, we first select on the court, edit the information, and we can add other members' names to the court. Now, one of the more difficult parts is when there are 3 members that play on a court and 1 guest. So we'll have that as our sample. The first thing we do is we want to change the billing information to percent base, and we'll have the host pay half and each other member pay 25%. Override and confirm. Now, we have 1 guest that needs to pay for the court. In order to get them to pay, we first select the court, then select the numbered billing information, and now we can have them pay for a portion of the court. Select the credit card option or cash if they're paying cash, and then alter the charge amount option. Most of the time, it'll be $13 if they want to pay for a quarter. You can also print out a receipt by checking the box on the bottom right. Blocking off time. Occasionally, you'll need to block time. Now, you'll do this by selecting the Block Time option along the middle bar, and you'll type in waitlist and then the time, since most of the time you'll be doing this to set up a waitlist for a court time. You can select Show Courts, and then you'll want to block in the area for the waitlist time that you're blocking. So in this case, since the waitlist is at 8:15, we'll block off 75 minutes at 8:15. Then save and confirm. The other part to set up when you're making a waitlist is to create a note for the person that you're creating the waitlist for. In this case, we'll say Sally wants a court, so we'll make a note for her, and then we'll click Add Note to get her on there. Now, if another person wants a court at 8:15, rather than creating a new block time, we just add a note. So if Hank calls in, we can also add him. If a court time does open up, you will need to reach out to the people on the waitlist in order of who's on the bottom first, since they were the first people to call. Then after you reach out, you'll want to edit the note and say that you called them. Whether or not they accept is less important, but we just don't want to call the same person twice. Managers may also ask you to block off time for special events, but that's a less common occurrence than the wait lists. Ball machine lane and batting cage. Members can also reserve time in the ball machine lane and in the batting cage. Reserving time in the ball machine lane is pretty similar to reserving a court time. You just select the Reserve a Court option in the upper left, type in the member name, and then highlight the blocks. In this case, though, for the ball machine lane, they can reserve it in 30-minute increments or 60-minute increments, rather than the standard 75-minute increments for a standard court time. You'll still want to save, or in this case, cancel the reservation to prevent it from going through, though. For a batting cage reservation, you'll first want to go to baseball, and then you can reserve a batting cage. Now, there are 2 separate batting cages, the one with a machine and the one without, so you will want to confirm which one the member wants. They can also reserve these in 30 or 60-minute increments, though. Then you'll just put their name in if they're a member, or create them account if they're not, and then they'll be all set to book. Taking attendance. After classes, front desk workers do need to take attendance. Oftentimes go through the activities page and then select the class, the session, and the day and time, and then you'll put in the attendance that way. First, you can see who the pro is. Just verify that the pro schedule information is correct, and then you can go to attendance and you can click on a box and select present or absent. Most of the time, you'll just select present and leave it blank if it's absent, but if people call in ahead, that's when you'll want to select the absent option. Alternatively, if you make a mistake, you can also clear the attendance. Registering people for classes. When registering for people for classes, you want to select Register User and then type in the name of the member. After that, you can select Bill in Full to add them to the class, or if they're registering a little bit later into the session, you can also prorate it. If you type in the prorate option, it'll prorate it from that day. So if the class is later that day and they won't be able to make it, you'll want to select the day afterwards and have it prorated from that day. If the class is already full, you'll want to either add them to the class to put it over capacity, or you can just put them on the wait list instead. Now, once they're on the wait list, you can either add them to the class or remove them from the class by selecting the register option, where you can prorate again. Just make sure you put the day in the right way. Or, like with this person, you can remove them from the class by selecting the W and then remove. Let's say Sally doesn't actually want to be a part of this class though. In that case, we'll just go to her account and then we can look under her registration information in the middle section right through here, and then we can withdraw her from this class by selecting Edit Enrollment and Withdraw. Logging an account credit. This one isn't directly related to club automation, but it's still important to keep track of. When you withdraw someone from a class, you do need to log the account credit they get to our account credit spreadsheet. This consists of the transaction number, the day, the class, and the amount. Then you'll also need to add in your name. So copy and paste the transaction number and make a note of the day that it occurred. And then you'll want to input in the information for how much money it was, who the person was. So in this case, it's Sally Aardvark and a charge of $247.73. And then after that, you'll be able to put in your name and the type of clinic. Now, for this particular clinic, it's just an instructional clinic since it's 2.5, but you can also find that information on the activities page. So we'll put an instructional clinic here. Then we'll make a note that she got the account credit because she withdrew from this particular class. And this one's clinic 2.5. So rather than type all that out, we'll just copy and paste again. Clinic 2.5, session, and the day and time. The point of sale or POS system. We'll use the point of sale system first by either going to the member point of sale, go to POS, or we can also go to our home page and go to the guest point of sale system. Now here we can either do refunds or make charges. The most common guest charge we do is probably a bag of used balls, or a hopper rental. So we'll just type in hopper rental or alternatively bag of used balls. And then we'll click add to get it on to a point where we can actually bill for it. We'll start out by, once it's up here, taking a payment. And then there are a lot of payment options: credit card, cash, a gift card if they have one. We can also print out a receipt for them, and then we'll click pay if we want to go through the transaction. Now, if we want to go to a member account, in the case that we need to refund something or just charge directly to their account, we first go to the member's account and then go to POS. Right now, we're right under their name. For your refunding, you want to go to Build Activity, and then you can select what you want to refund. Now, when you're selecting what to refund, you always want to do Return Item, and then how much of the item you want to return. So if you want to fully return the item, you just keep the quantity at 1, and then you'll see here that's the full amount, and then you go to Process Refund right down there. And that will allow you to return the item. If you want to cancel the return, you can just cancel the return right there. That's for if you type in the wrong amount. Member accounts. It's important to remember that our view of the member accounts look different from their view. You'll look at their view later when you look at the member portal, but for now we'll take a look at our view. If you want to edit personal information, you can do that in that top column, and then editing billing information is in the bottom column. Most of the time, you'll just edit the billing information by putting a new credit card on file. First, you'll want to make sure you remove the old credit card, and then you can update it with the new card. But make sure you click Save at the end. Now, you can also take a look at the user groups and packages. This will help you make sure that every account has an active membership instead of an eval. And you can take a look at their active reservations. So some people forget which classes they have, and this way you can tell them. Now, they may also have a rating on file that the pros will ask you to look up. You can see the rating and who gave it to them through Notes and Docs, and then Messages lets you see if they're receiving our emails. It'll say open if they've actually opened up the email, or just delivered if they got it. Lastly, you'll want to take a look at their statement. A lot of members will have questions about their billing information. You can take a look at billing from specific months. So we'll take a look at all of February's billing. Then you can also take a look at paid or unpaid charges that they need to take care of. So some of the members don't like to log into their account, so they can be a little bit uncertain about all the charges that take place. You'll just want to email them their statement for specific months if that's the case.